Hello there people, welcome back to my computer and Fusion for 60. This is Christian and this is the model I made lately, and I made a big blunder, a big mistake. I didn't read the drawing. Vera pointed out in the comments, thank you for that the circle here, which I did a messy thing with a hexagon from the side view and stuff, it's dimensioned here. It's supposed to be 2mm offset off the center of this circle from the side here. I think I misread these two like a double dimension of the champ. Yeah, my mistake. I'm sorry about that. But what's good about this gives me an opportunity to go back and edit the model and show you how I do that. I'm only a hobby user, so I don't know everything. I make mistakes all the time. Just moving things around so we can have both things in view. So, what do I want to do? First of all, I want to make this component active because I'm going to edit inside this component. I have opened up bodies and sketches to see things, so I have everything visible in front of me. And step number one, I know I did a revolve, so I know it's this one here, but if you have done something, you know, okay, it's the thing with this face here. Highlight the face by selecting it, clicking on it, and you see in the timeline you get 3 little marks down here. So this face is created with this feature here. And if you follow along in my early video, you know that I tried to put the feature directly after the sketch that is connected to a feature, or at least it might be like here. I have 2 features, but they are from this sketch here and working in this direction forward. And so that's right. That's another thing. If you can't find, you know, this is the Revolve command you want to change. Let's say the model, you can't see the face. You can right click on a feature and select where are you? Find in window. And Fusion will zoom in and highlight the face created by the feature or the solid body or what it is. So that's 2 ways of finding what's going on. To avoid errors, I will now move the timeline back to a Revolve command. I want to skip Fusion doing recalculations of everything after here, or do that at the end, just simply move the timeline forward. Once again, check I'm in the correct component, and this is Revolve. Oh yeah, let's back it up before, because I will now, the problem is, let's highlight the last sketch. This is this one here. This is totally in the wrong direction, it's on the wrong plane, everything is wrong about this sketch. So yes, I can go in and try to redefine sketch planes and stuff, but because this is a quite simple sketch, which is my intent when I do sketches, keep them simple, keep the bare minimum information needed in the sketch, I will make a new sketch. Let's turn the body in a useful direction, create new sketch. I'm going to create it on one of these origin planes here. Let's see if it makes it visible. Of course, these planes go straight through the body, as we made it symmetric to start with. Gonna hide the earlier sketch. So we gonna need some geometry to play around with. Hit P for project. We're gonna need this edge here, because that is what the dimensions are referenced from. And the second thing we're gonna need a center axis for Revolve. As part of this earlier sketch here, there's a profile and there's a line for the axis. So what I can do, we can simply use this line here. This is a hexagon, so this edge here should be in the middle of everything. Hit OK. Now remember, we are sketching on a plane, so I select an edge that is physically closer to me, but if you turn around, you can see the lines ends up on the correct sketch plane. So by doing that, gonna do look at, gonna move it around, zoom in slightly so you can see things better, and hide the body. This line here can stay a normal line, that will be our axis. This line here is for reference, so I'm gonna turn that into a construction line. We're gonna add C on the keyboard for the circle needed, like that, and then D for dimension. Let's start with the circle. Move out, right click once again, because it's given like an R3 dimension over here. So I'm going to select radius and set dimension somewhere and say it's going to be 3mm. And I have auto scaling the sketching, that's why things move around. I'm going to dimension this center to here, and it gets a bit confused, so let's do the other dimension first. Let's dimension this direction first. Still a bit confused. Let's do it in this direction instead. I selected the points, you can see that, and Fusion tries to dimension the shortest way between points. So the dimension, let's select the line instead. and then this point. Now I get the dimension in the correct orientation I want them in. So I'm going to do this here, and that was 2 millimeters. Let's see, we now can dimension the other direction. Now Fusion should be a bit nicer. Yes, there it is. It's sometimes popping around. Is this really the correct? It looks a bit tilted. Yes, that is not the correct way. This you have to be careful sometimes. So what I will do a line L on the keyboard. Just do a construction line from here to here. This will be like the top face of the part. So now we can dimension from this line down to this center point here, move out, and that is 20. So you sometimes need to be careful when dimension things if you're selecting points, that Fusion normally wants to treat it like there's a line between and only dimension that, or horizontally vertically. But the problem is we have an angle of this here, so we can't use horizontally vertically. That's going to be wrong. So I need this piece of extra geometry here. This is here, so we have 2 millimeters there, we have 20, and that's an R3. Radius of 3 circle. Finish sketch. Move up to our Revolve command. Let's turn on the body and edit our little feature. So, profile and axis are now from a wrong sketch. I'm going to hide that sketch. Sketch 3, it's sketch number 6 down here I want to use. Going to remove both of them. The profile I'm going to use is my little circle. And the axis is the new center line I did here. It once again does cut, so I'm going to hit OK on the keyboard, or on the dialog box, like that. Now I have a new sketch driving this feature here. That means that this sketch, and I hold it on Control, this plane here is not used anymore. So I'm going to just simply right click, or you can hit delete on the keyboard and delete these two. So now we have sketch, feature, and we have now changed this. Looking from a front view, and you should be able to see how this cuts around. Looks nice. Of course, this dimension makes it more sensitive if you change the dimension of the hexagon. This might get in the wrong place. You need to edit the dimension if there's going to be some other dimension of a thing like this. Now simply take the timeline and drag it to the end and let Fusion recalculate the rest of the model. So, of course, another good thing to do if you start to get a lot of feature and it starts to get confusing, you can rename the features to make them easier to find. But as I showed, you can click on a face and find, okay, that's an extrude and the whole command, let's give us a combination of that, or the other way around. I'm wondering which hole is this. I can simply click on it, and if I can't see it on the screen, right click and select find in window. So that's how I can fix a mistake. And the mistake was totally mine. With that said, take care. Hope to see you around. Goodbye.